In order to go to the conference championship game, you have to finish in the top 2 of this group. Currently, number 1 Ohio State, number 3 Michigan, number 5 Washington, number 6 Oregon, number 10 Penn State. What is up, everybody? It is Jake with Master of Football, back at it again. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on everything college football, pro football, Madden, EA College Football, NFL Draft, anything related to American football, hit that red subscribe button. You will not be disappointed. Also the like button too, and follow on Twitter/X. That fame is growing. Without further ado, let's get into the video. All right, guys, I saw an article that came out in the world of college football that I could not... It's a little arrogant, but again, that's how it works here in college football. There's a lot of things that can just get thrown around there. There's kind of passively that it will be like kind of low-key disses on other teams. And I'm telling you right here, I'm not so much worried about that. We're going to address that in a second. I'm more worried about one of the names that's on there that if they actually were to take this opportunity, I think it would be a huge opportunity missed by them by leaving where they are at right now. We're, of course, talking about Michigan State and their head coach search. All right, here we are on SI.com. Spartan Nation says, report Michigan State's candidates list finalized for the next head football coach. A report from 247 Sports suggests Michigan State has finalized a short list of candidates for its next football head coach, and the school will begin scheduling interviews with these various options in the coming weeks. As you all remember, the whole situation, Mel Tucker was removed. Mel Tucker was given a contract, 10 years, $95 million recently. Ultimately, he is not gone now, but you would anticipate that if they got the right person in for the job, it would be something or someone who would get something similar to that. It says here, when Spartan Tailgate's report did not confirm any of these names on Michigan State's shortlist, a general public knowledge learned of 4 candidates believed to be included. Oregon State's Jonathan Smith right now, and again, unfortunately for Oregon State, they are probably going to get left out of, a big conference. They might get an invite to the Big 12. I don't know what it is, but we'll see there. I've kind of moved away from conference realignment stuff because it's just made me sick. But anyways, Jonathan Smith. Wake Forest, Dave Clawson. I have been pounding the table for Wake Forest, Dave Clawson. Any team out there who feels like, you know what, we don't have the resources of a team above us. We need to do something special, something unique. Wake Forest, Dave Clawson, the slow mesh. That's who you need to call if you're in that situation as a team. Michigan State is close to that. Washington State's Jake Dickert, and again, same situation. Take advantage of the fact, again, Oregon State and Washington State's coaching staffs and rosters are going to get pillaged because they're probably no longer going to have that Pac-12 money coming in. So unfortunately, it sucks to say that, but it's probably the truth there. Also, it mentions a couple other names here. It says Duke's Mike Elko. That makes sense. UCLA's Chip Kelly. That does not make sense. UCLA is coming into the Big Ten unless Michigan State can just pay more money than than UCLA can. I don't know if they can or not. I bet, again, it depends on how much UCLA prioritizes football or not. But I bet Chip Kelly wouldn't leave. He wouldn't leave Pasadena for East Lansing. I'm just guessing. Kansas State's Chris Kleiman and Iowa State's Matt Campbell. I don't really know. I know Kansas State's got a good thing with Chris Kleiman and Iowa State's Matt Campbell. I know that they for some reason they can't figure out offense, but I do know the fact they do have a pretty good defense there. Those are all under consideration. One name that I am going to adamantly tell them not to do anything about is Kansas's Lance Leipold. I have been loving this guy. I've written some good, I created some good content about him before. I could not disagree more of him leaving for Michigan State for multiple reasons. I could not disagree with that more for multiple reasons. We're going to get into those in a second here. First, I want to address the fact that it looks like this story has already killed itself right now because Lance has already referenced it in a recent interview. Right here, and this is just 104 minutes ago right now. I'm filming this the day before for you guys right now that are watching this. Lance Leipold says he expects to finish his career at Kansas. The coaching carousel in college football is about to start spinning as the 2023 season comes to a conclusion later this month, and athletic directors across the country make decisions on their respective football programs. As you guys know right here, around November 20th to 25th, somewhere around there, we're going to start to see anybody who's on the hot seat is going to be getting rid of. The reason why is because the transfer portal opens soon, and then signing day is not too far after that. You have to get the new guy in there with the message being pushed 2 weeks to recruit. That's the reason why that timing happens very specifically. You're going to see also, especially before conference championship week, after all those regular seasons are, the schedules are done, they're going to be in a situation where they're like, we really need to get our guy in here now, so that a lot of these moves are going to be made. Wouldn't be surprised if Michigan State is got an early list with Lance Leipold on it. He apparently, though, has already removed himself from it, but we continue on. It says 2 Power 5 jobs that are already open in Michigan State and Northwestern and more likely will open in the coming weeks. On Wednesday, there was a social media report from a Michigan-based radio host that speculated Leipold interview with Michigan State on Tuesday. During his weekly Hawk Talk radio show on Wednesday, Lance Leipold shot down the rumor and stated his commitment to KU with a similar commitment to one he's made in the past. Quote, "There's only one interview, and that's the only way it's going to be. The one thing that happens this time of year is there's lots of speculation and things that are happening that are not accurate. As I've said for a long time, Travis Goff and Chancellor Garrod have treated Kelly and I extremely well and our family. It is our plan and our expectation that we want to be here, and this is going to be the last job that we have." Boom, straight up, straight away. Now, for those of you who are saying, I totally get it. If you're like, okay, that's what he's saying, but he's not going to say, oh yeah, I'm definitely thinking about leaving. That's just the way it is. Again, we've seen those situations before, whoever it is, I promise I'm not leaving. Later on in the interview, whatever it is. We've seen plenty of those spots. However, I want to make sure I highlight something. We're going to talk about specifically Michigan State. I'll address Northwestern a little bit there, but Michigan State versus Kansas as jobs, why Lance Leipold staying is the best decision for him. There's multitude of reasons for that. There's one big reason why he would leave, but we're going to go into the reasons why I believe he should stay. So currently, Kansas State is 7-2. And if you look down here at their schedule here, so again, they beat Missouri State. They went and they beat Illinois, a pretty decent Illinois team, but good defense there at least. They had a really weird one at Nevada. Personally, Nevada is one of the bottom feeders here in the Mountain West. And the fact that going to Nevada and winning by 7, it is a difficult place to play. I mean, Nevada is a certain type of fan base out there. And then winning against BYU, lost at Texas, bad loss there at Texas, beat UCF, lost to Oklahoma State, but then beat Oklahoma and beat Iowa State. They have Texas Tech. They are favored by 3.5 right now at home. They have Kansas State at home. That's going to be a tough one. And then at Cincinnati, the worst team in the Big 12 at this point. So minimum 7-5, maximum 9-3 from this schedule here, in addition to possibly even making the Big 12 title game. But not so much this season. What we actually want to do is check out the future of this conference and what they're looking at if they stay at Kansas versus going to Michigan State. So this is a particularly bad year for this example for going to Michigan State, and I'll let you know why. Because right now, currently, this is the CFP rankings right here. Currently, what's happening is that the Big Ten West and the Big Ten East, whoever the top team in those teams goes to the conference championship. Next year, they're going to merge the leagues in addition to adding USC, UCLA, Oregon, and Washington to the mix. Meaning, in order to go to the conference championship game, you have to finish in the top 2 of this group. Currently, number 1, Ohio State, number 3, Michigan, number 5, Washington, number 6, Oregon, number 10, Penn State. In addition to, and if we come down here a little bit farther, we've got UCLA and USC, who are 26th and 27th, respectively. I know Iowa's in there. You already play Iowa every year if you're Northwestern. But Michigan State, Michigan State and Northwestern, that's what you have to look forward to. And if you're Northwestern, you have to, not only are you going to play less Big Ten West teams, you're going to play more Big Ten East teams. It's just, there's lots of issues with that. Looking at what Kansas has to look forward to next season, here's what they have to deal with. So we come down here, we check this out. Nobody in the top here. We've got all the way down here we've got Oklahoma State at 15. Okay, that's going to be a team you have to play against. Kansas at 16. That's going to be yourself, though. Utah is coming in at 18. Arizona and my boy Jed Fish. Anybody out there? I've been making videos about Jed Fish for a while. You didn't believe me? I'm telling you, they are going to be a problem because I'll let you know. Just like Gronk going there, any red-blooded American male, Arizona or Arizona State is the easiest place in the country to recruit to, bar none. It's not close. And then also addition to Kansas State down here as well. So you look at that group there. The one group has the blue bloods of the blue bloods in it. In addition, and that's including a down year for USC and UCLA. Well, an average year for UCLA. But then you look at the other teams that you're going to have to play against if you stay in the Big 12. It's going to be Oklahoma State, Kansas, Utah, Arizona, and Kansas State. And I come over here to check out the Big 12 because I want to make sure that we understand some things. I know some people are saying, oh, yeah, well, with the addition of those new teams, the league is going to get super competitive. I think it'll be actually very similar to the ACC or Pac-12 of years before, where there's a couple teams that are pretty good, but there's no real dominant team to win on a consistent basis. I say this when USC was down recently. USC is back, and the reason why they're being added to the Big 10 is because everybody knows the ceiling on USC is through the roof. But you check out this group here, although they're going to be losing Oklahoma and Kansas, or Oklahoma and Texas, they are going to be adding Utah, Colorado, who I think has a high ceiling too, and then Arizona and Arizona State. The bottom of the Big 12 right now is unfortunately having some troubles. You see the fact that right now Cincinnati, UCF, BYU, and Houston, that group right there, other than a Hail Mary for Houston to beat West Virginia, a 1-point win for Houston to beat Baylor, and then a victory of BYU over Texas Tech, all of the wins that those four new teams have had against each other in the Big 12 have been against each other. Unfortunately, it's a bigger ramp up for those teams, and Kansas has already figured that out. I know they had Utah, I know that they had Arizona, but Kansas going forward, I think, has a better shot at the playoff, better shot at a lot of things if Lance Leipold stays there, as opposed to going to Michigan State, where it's going to be a murderer's row in that schedule. Now, to be fair, and remember here at the end of the day, it's one of those things where ask yourself this question. Think about your most hated rival in college football that you have, your most hated rival. Whatever you do for work, I know if you're retired or this or that, whatever it is, let's just say whatever you do for work, you could double the amount of money you make in a year, but you have to root for that team. Again, I'm not even saying that Kansas and Michigan State are rivals, but I'm saying here that if you're offered a 10-year, $95 million contract that was signed in 2021, thinking about this is before the additions of all those teams to the Big Ten. We can't even imagine what kind of resources they're going to have going forward. So think about that being offered $10 million a year to coach at Michigan State, as opposed to how much coaching at Kansas. Now, there is a renewed interest in Kansas football. They're adding to the facilities and this and that. We understand all of that. However, right now, currently, they're only paying him about a little, roughly $5 million a year. So, as much as I would like to think that he would automatically, get a big pay bump or something like that if Kansas were to assign him to an extension, I know that Michigan State is capable of paying more money than them. And again, it's his life, not mine. We'll see what that means. The most important thing I want to talk here, and the reason why I think he should stay, is because it is so hard to find success as a coach at a certain school. Whatever it is, there's so many things competing against you. Jim McElwain was at Florida. Now Jim McElwain's at Central Michigan. There's no guarantee, because you're to keep on going up the coaching ladder, you're going to stay there. There's nothing like that. So continuing down here, you can see the fact that Kansas football has the added benefit for Lance Leipold's perspective that they never really had a winning tradition. You think about this Mark Mangino, again, 12-1, love what he did there in 2007. Unfortunately, 3 out of the 8 years he had a winning record. 5 out of the 8 he had a losing record. Now, I know what you're saying. Lance Leipold is 2-10 and 6-7, so 0 for 2 his first 2 years. This year, 7-2. He's builds a good program. I think they're going to be just fine. I think personally, if I had to choose, I would have him stay at Kansas than leave for Michigan State, because in the long run, I think he would make more money. So Lance Leipold is already being rumored to go to Michigan State from Kansas. I personally think he should stay. Reason why I think he should stay is I think he's got a chance. He's got such a long, leash because of how much success he's had so far. They're 7-2. I have an opportunity to get to 10-2. Have an opportunity to get to 9-3, something like that. A double-digit win season for Kansas is huge. And also, even if he goes to Michigan State, there's no guarantee he's going to stay there for the long term. Like I said before, Jim McElwain went to Florida. Jim McElwain's now at Central Michigan. So what I think is, in the long term, over the next 10 years, for sure being at Kansas for 10 years is going to pay a lot more than maybe being at Michigan State for 5 or 6 years if it doesn't work out. I think that Lance Leipold staying at Michigan, like he said he would, is the right decision. All right, guys, get in the comments right now. You're Lance Leipold. What do you guys do? You think he should leave? I personally don't think he should. Also, if you're a Michigan State fan, who do you want of that group? I'm telling you right now, Dave Clawson's my boy. Get Dave Clawson. If you don't, somebody is going to be thrilled they got Dave Clawson. I don't know who it is, but they're going to be thrilled for getting him. All right, guys, that's it for me. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.